Hi, everybody. Coming up on, what time is it now? 2:08. Hope you're having a great day on this MLK Jr. Day. What a week we've got ahead, folks. We are tracking the potential for what could be a major winter storm, but the key word here, potential. Let's say it with me, class, potential. I'm going to break down in this video what I'm expecting, what I see as we see it, and kind of give you a transparent look at what we're looking at. And what our team will do each day of the week moving forward here is give you kind of that transparent look featuring the facts of what we know and when we know it, and more importantly, what I kind of stress with my team is let's say what we don't know, because at this stage in the game, being that we're 5 days out, 4.5 on one of the models, it's very important to know what we don't know at this time. And in that case, what we're mapping out is the potential of a big impact system with the details being on where it's going to track. So please let me know where you're watching from right now, and I'll give you these updates. What you'll see in this update are the timing, the impacts, and what we're confident in at this point is the timing. The timing looks to be a Saturday-Sunday event. And what we know is there will be a system. I'm pretty confident on that, so you can put that on the check mark box. What I'm confident in is there's going to be cold air around, but what I'm not confident in, which will mean the difference in snow, rain, or ice, or somewhere in the middle, is the track of this low pressure system. So that's going to be what we'll answer in this video with what I know when I know it kind of thing, and we'll keep you posted. But let me know where you're watching from, and I'll answer some of your questions here in just a minute. So if you will, bear with me here. This is the European model, hot off the presses. That's what I wanted to kind of wait for. Could have gone live earlier, but I wanted to see this new model process. And this is kind of the standard at which models are held to. The European is very good at tropical, dissection of the atmosphere. It's very good at winter. And in this case, the European shows by Friday, notice back toward Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, you've got a developing deep low pressure system. What's equally as important, equally as key, is this high pressure system. It's a 1047. It is a big daddy high. I'll just go ahead and call it that. It is a monster high, and that brings in, as you know, let's go to my physics class at Clemson, all right? We'll take you to school. Here's the origin of that. You have clockwise winds around a high pressure. And the origins of that, I feel like I'm at the chroma key here, but I'm not, is from Canada and stretching all the way in. So that not only brings in cold air, but it reinforces cold air. All right, so both are equally as important. And you have to have this high anchored in order to get a winter storm. And boy, does it look anchored. I mean, this is the ideal spot for cold air to not only be in place, but to be locked in place. All right. So here we are with that developing, deepening low pressure system right here. Now, the track the European takes is right down the middle. It's basically middle Mississippi, central Alabama, middle Georgia, in through the upstate. And that leads to, unfortunately, if this European model is right, a crippling ice storm with hardly any snow across South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. It would be pretty much all freezing rain. That would be a bad situation. And folks, I'm going to get to Sunday morning here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the last 4 runs of the European. All right, let's go all the way back to yesterday's Sunday morning's run. All right, let's map that out. Where's it at? Comes in here like that. All right, so this is Sunday morning's run. Let's go to Sunday afternoon's run. The early morning run today, 2 a.m. All very, very consistent with ice. But it looks like this morning's run at 2 a.m. had the snow ice line over Virginia, North Carolina. The 6Z run, very similar. But this morning's run, the latest one I had, just finished processing at 2. Let's go all the way out here. Has brought that snow line down to the South Carolina, North Carolina line. Now, I don't want us to focus in on those details, because that's going to change 7 ways to Sunday until we get to Sunday, all right? What I want us to focus in on, is there a storm, and is it wintry? All right, that's really all we need to kind of zoom in at this point. So there's the European, 4 runs in a row, ice, all right? So there's great consistency in the run-to-run of the European. And if I look at the models compared to one another, let's look at the GFS, because it too, remember the questions I'm trying to answer today, being we're 5 days out. You know, when we're 5 to When we're 7 to 10 days out, the pattern's favorable. It's not favorable for wintry weather. When we're 5 to 7 days out, it's okay, is that threat trending up or is it trending down? Once we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, tomorrow into Wednesday, okay, is it North Carolina, is it South Carolina? Is it snow or is it ice? And then when we get to days 1 through 3, it's how much snow and ice and exactly what times is that going to happen, okay? So there's what I know when I know it. All right. So again, let me know where you're watching from. I see Anderson's in the house, Rogers in the house. Hi, Harold. Brianna, Piedmont. Yes, Charlotte is going to get it. I mean, that's the way it's looking right now. So let me know where you're watching from right now. Here's the GFS. Let's go over that, and let's go over the different runs of it. The GFS is colder, simply put. It has consistently shown more of a snowstorm than an ice storm. Either way, remember what we're trying to answer today. Is there a storm and when? Yes, there's a storm on all the models, and it's this weekend. All right. So the potential, remember what I said, class, we're going to say it at the beginning, potential corner. This could trend down. That's why, you look at this, look at Oklahoma on this GFS model. It shows a quick hit of some snow. Then it dives so far south, it's mainly Dallas, Fort Worth east. Okay. And then it moves out Sunday. So what this is a difference of the track of 40 miles means you're in rain. Now you're in ice, or you were in ice. Now you're in a cold rain. All right. Same thing with the European. You know that North Carolina was covered up in ice on that run two runs ago. So that 30, 40 miles makes all the difference in the world. All right. So anyway, GFS shows a Friday night arrival, a little bit earlier than the European. Saturday's go time for most of the models here, but Saturday is pretty much all snow, I-85 northbound. It's a mixed bag of snow, sleet, and freezing rain south from I-85 to I-20. So this includes the major metropolitan areas of Columbia, Myrtle Beach, the Grand Strand, over through Atlanta, through Birmingham, Mississippi, northbound, all right? Dallas, Fort Worth, north. It's big snow. It's big snow. And it stays out Sunday, and we recover going into that early parts of that next week. Canadian model, for what it's worth, I mean, it's not my favorite model, but it is good to have them consistent. Remember, what we're trying to answer today, I would ask you, but you're not my class. What are we trying to answer? Say it with me now. Is there a storm, and when is it? Okay, Canadian, let's answer that. Is there a storm? Yup. When is it? Saturday, Sunday. All right, Canadian is kind of showing what our bust potential would be. So many of you, I learned a long time ago, been doing this 20 years. Got to stay out of the comment section when it's winter storms. Folks, I'm used to it. You don't go into this business with thin skin at all, but comments are extra creative this year. Let's just put it that way. But I get it. When winter storms don't pan out the way you want or think, it can be frustrating. It's frustrating for us as meteorologists. But winter storms are by far the most emotionally taxing, I guess you could say, because people get excited. It brings back childhood memories, kind of magical days type thing, right? And it also impacts business, travel, school, all of that. So I get it. It's high impact, very little reward for us meteorologists. We're danged if we do, danged if we don't. Danged if we don't talk about it, because I'm failing you if I don't talk about the potential. But also, there's a very high bust potential when it comes to snow. So the Canadian is hinting at what could happen here. It's got the high pressure in a bad spot. It's got a big daddy, 1050 here, but it's over the central United States instead of the Midwest. Big differences there. That traps cold air on the other side of the mountains, not on the east coast of the mountains. All right, does that make sense? So here we are. Remember, clockwise winds around a high. It shows plenty of cold air right here, not as much cold air on the other side of the mountain. In fact, there would be warmer air surging up from the Gulf. Now, this would mean it would likely start off as rain Saturday night, and then at the end of it, when this low gets right here from, you see the low right there, 1,006, once it were to move east, now it's pulling in cold air down the mountain. So it would change over to an ice event on the Canadian at the end as the moisture is leaving away. So that is certainly on the table, folks. And that's why I keep saying here, and why I have it in bold on my monitor here behind me, potential. It's there. So it's not written in stone, okay? It's not a promise. It's a potential. And again, I would be failing you as a meteorologist, both on air and online, if I did not talk about a potential storm of this magnitude. But I've got to do it responsibly. And I would find people that you trust, and my team does that. We're very, very transparent in what we know and what we don't know. And at this stage in the ball game, What we know is there is a storm, and it's this weekend. All right, here's an impact-based graphic. This is from NOAA's Storm or Weather Prediction Center, and you look over here what it means. So winter weather areas, where's there going to be a winter storm? It kind of reiterates what we're seeing on the maps here, and it shows you where there's a high chance. So 60% would be the red. So a 60% chance or greater in here of some sort of winter storm impacting you. So, through Sunday, there's a 60% chance or greater, according to NOAA. Whoa, zoomed out way too far. All right, you get the picture of a storm. So here's the mechanics of it. Let's just go over that for a second, and then I'll get to some pretty snow maps with some words of caution for you. So here's the cold air coming in, getting established, and here's our piece of energy in the atmosphere that's bringing in the potential for snow. And again, this is the textbook scenario for winter storms on the East Coast and the South. You got an active southern stream jet, which coincides with La Nina fading. You've got a very cold jet coming in first, cold air in first, southern stream activity second. You couldn't have ordered it up better at the Burger King. I saw that earlier. Somebody said, people want to have their forecast exactly the way they want it, right? Well, you couldn't have ordered it up better, right? Here it comes in into early next week. And then we just double down with the cold on this European model. This is our Euro. All right. Shows the potential. And I showed you this earlier. This dip in the jet stream right here on the 29th would leave us with single-digit low temperatures from Asheville northbound. For the upstate, it would be low teens, 10, 11, 12. All right. That's something to pay attention to. Of course, our threat right here is more particular. I got the comment section up. What you guys saying? Skeeter's asking if Brooke's still there. Hey, Skeeter. Hey, Brooke. Margaret's watching. We got Caitlin from Cherokee County, South Carolina. Hi there. Got David watching from Greenville. Cheryl. Hi, Chris. I'm due for a procedure on Monday at Downtown Prisma. Do you think it will go forward? If we get ice the magnitude of the European, I don't think there's going to be much traveling on Monday, unfortunately, because it would be 25 degrees on Sunday, probably 34, 35 on Monday by the afternoon. So if it comes in any way, shape, or form, I think Monday is going to be tough. But folks, this is the part of the situation where I got to hit timeout. Okay, so don't cancel plans, but that's why as a meteorologist, I kind of chuckle at the fact that I could wait until we're 2 days before when I know for sure. But then you've got all these appointments, you've got travel, you've got business, you've got school, you've got games, you got to figure out. I would just say, hey, put it on your radar. Say, hey, I may need to change this in 2 or 3 days, but don't change anything right now. Absolutely not. So I hope that kind of helps you out a little bit. All right. So let's look at the high pressure on the new one. So let's just look at the last one so we can compare it. So here's the high 1050 on the Euro, shifts east with everything, locks in the cold air. But it doesn't move as far east as the GFS. So Euro's here. Let's flip it over to the 12Z. It's going to make me go all the way out again. Here we go. 1043. I'd say it did move a little bit east on the Euro, this new one, which is a little bit of a nod to the GFS with a little bit more of a colder profile, which would mean maybe the possibility for a little more snow, a little less ice, but either way, Euro's got it both. So there's the mechanics of what's coming in. There comes the low. Oof. This is textbook, folks. Low pressure here, shifts there, Miller A, cold air is in place. Big time. All right, here's a great way to look at this. This is our European. It's got every single 51 different runs of it. Folks, I can show you any man or woman in their basement can show you a map of a snow and throw it on the internet. But what I do, what our team does as meteorologists is we open the hood of the European model, and it gives us 51 different scenarios of, okay, let's tweak the moisture. Let's throw in a half an inch more. Let's bring the temperature up a few degrees. Let's move it a little bit further south, a little bit further north. And it does that 51 different times, as you can see right here. And when you look at all 51 different runs, almost every single one of them on the European shows some kind of snow for Greenville-Spartanburg Airport. All right, so Greer. The chances would be higher in Asheville, same in Charlotte, same in Atlanta. All right. So there's that. And consistently, here's the run from last night. Every single one, except for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 on here out of 50 that do not show snow. That means there's 46 that do. And the totals range here on the Euro. Remember, the Euro is more of an ice storm. 1 to 3 inches of snow with a couple in here, some biggies, 6, 8, 9, something like that. All right, so the GFS, remember, it is more snowy of a scenario. It has 30 different variations, and most, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 30 that don't show snow. So a little higher of a no snow on the GFS, but the totals are higher on the GFS. Remember, it's more of a snowy solution. All right, so cold air, no cold air. Look at it coming out of Canada right there. The purples and the blues indicate this, the colder air, and it is certainly entrenched. What's great here, and I can do, is let's do run-to-run change of temperatures. Model run change in temperatures. Does it trend up or down? Let's go to the key time frames here. It'd be Saturday afternoon. The GFS trended colder. We can actually zoom in a little bit. Let's do that. About stay the same, maybe a degree or two colder farther south. So that means the snow line's going a little further south on the GFS. This would be Saturday at 7 p.m. And then going into Sunday, this model, the GFS, trended about 10 degrees colder from its last run. Let's flip that over to the European. Do the same thing. Very useful tool. Wozer. All right, so time frames that matter. Saturday morning. Here we are. Saturday morning trended about 10, 15 degrees colder in South Carolina. That's why the snow line crashed a little farther south on this latest European run. And let's see. Now it's comparing it to the 6Z run. No, it's comparing it to 0Z last night. Here we are Saturday afternoon. A little bit of a warm bias south of here, so that's to be about 2-3 degrees warmer. But let's look at the temperature. It's 28 degrees. It's 18 in Asheville. It's 24 in Greenville. So when you're talking about 3 or 4 degrees, you're well within the frozen precipitation all the way down to I-20. But again, that would separate some areas like Augusta, Statesboro, Georgia, from a cold rain to nothing at all. And the time frames that matter here on the European would be Friday night when it comes in. Here's 1 a.m. Friday night into Saturday. So technically Saturday morning at 1 a.m. It's 30 in Greenville. It's 21 in Asheville. So we're well below the threshold of what you need. And then it only gets colder from there. 7 a.m. we're 23 in Greer, 22 in Charlotte, 32 in Atlanta. And then going into the afternoon hours, we hold steady at 25 in Greer, 21 in Asheville, and 26 in Charlotte. But you look down here, those areas that trend a little warmer, Myrtle Beach to Orangeburg, these areas are kind of in and out of snow and ice, would probably be what it would be. Robert, be nice. People got to be ugly. All right, here we go. So that's the GFS, the European. All right, so let's look at some pretty snow maps. And I want to caution you here. We're 5 days out. But again, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you what the possibilities are, at least. So I caution you with this as this is the potential, not the promise of snow. And again, I'm showing you more of the areas. I don't want you to fixate on the numbers. You're going to see the numbers. But I show you this in an effort to say, okay, let's watch the trends. Because if the numbers go up tomorrow or down tomorrow, it would showcase what could or could not happen. So here we are, going into Saturday. It's got big snow. Again, don't look at the numbers. We're not going to take them off. But it's got snow across North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas. And this is through Sunday. All right. It's got lower amounts the farther south you get. The reason why is it shows ice in that same time frame. Let me refresh this. Give us the 12Z version. I mean, folks, when you get to a half an inch of ice, that's big. When you get to 3/4 of an inch or an inch, that's even worse. And here's the deal. Let's look at the trends on the European. Let's go 5 runs ago. This was yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, yesterday at 1 a.m. So technically it's morning at 1 a.m. to now. All right. So Euro's been consistent, if anything, at telling us this is ice, not snow. The GFS, let's look at those trends. I mean, just wallops everybody with a big snow. Let's go to next Monday. It's got a big time snow. Let's look at the trends on it. 1 run ago, 2 runs ago, 3 runs ago to now. All right, let's look at the ice on the GFS. That's right now's model. Got ice farther south. Let's go back 4 runs ago, 3 runs ago, 1 run ago to now. All right. So pretty interesting trends there. And again, there's the things I know, there's the things I don't know. And I'll say it a lot earlier this week. There's a lot I don't know right now. What I do know is there's a system to track and there's cold air. Here's the Climate Prediction Center's new outlook for Friday through next Tuesday. Cold air is definitely there. We also look for signals in the upper parts of the atmosphere, like blocking. This is the North Atlantic Oscillation. When it turns negative, it indicates a more stormy, kind of disrupted pattern. This usually allows the polar vortex to break off and kind of come down. And when that happens, you can typically get a more stormy pattern and a colder pattern. So there's another clue. Again, you don't get a cake by having all the ingredients sitting on your kitchen counter, right? You got to put them all together. And that's the whole key we're going to watch. Blue Ridge High School's in the house. Hello, friends. Pamela, thank you so much. Here's the average of all 51 different runs of the European through next Monday, so a week out. The orange would indicate a 80% chance or greater of an inch of snow, and it's got it right at the I-85 corridor. So the Euro, averaging together all the models, shows an 80% chance or more of snow from Greenville, Spartanburg, Atlanta, Charlotte, northbound. Okay, the red is 100% chance. We rarely get that, but here you are. That's the Euro AI. The GFS is a little farther north, right along the I-40 corridor for a 50-50 shot. Okay, so that's kind of the way things are shaping up right now, folks. What do you have for me? What do you got? David says, I'd love to see the 1988 snow. Oh, that was a big one, David. That was the blizzard of 88, and then 5 years later, we had the blizzard of 93. All right, how about Greenwood? Hi, Sonia. Denise watching right now. The models are in, and the Euro is showing big time ice. Brandy says, so basically snow and ice threat is rain possible. Absolutely. All you got to do is shift that system north 60 miles, and some people go from ice to rain, so on and so forth. Jason, so what you're saying is you have no clue what's going to happen. Jason, I did not say that at all. But thank you for playing along. Hamlet, North Carolina, here on the South Carolina line. Welcome to you. Gene watching from Brevard. Patricia, hello to you. So what else you guys got? Where are you watching from right now? Let me know in the comment section where you're watching from, and we'll continue to keep you posted. Who's watching from Charlotte right now? I got Catawba County, got Mooresville in the house, Statesville, Charlotte, South Park. What else you guys watching from? I remember the 2000 in North Carolina. We were supposed to get a dusting of snow, but got a foot. Tori, those systems can happen for sure. Jonathan says, with the trends on the Euro, how are things looking for north of 85? Jonathan, if the Euro trended anything today, it was for more snow north of 85, more ice south of 85. Justin says, snow is better than ice, correct? Absolutely. Snow would be much better, but for Charleston, it looks like ice. You're too far south, but more than likely a cold rain in Charleston, being right on the coast. But you go just inland, it could certainly be more ice. I'm not going to let my husband drive to work Monday if it's that bad. I don't care if they get upset, says Haley. Yeah, be safe. Certainly could be a high impact if it comes together. And that's the thing is, folks, it's still a potential. And our job over the next 48 hours in each model suite that comes in is to either confirm that the chance is there or say, hey, chances are backing off a little bit. So don't be surprised if that goes either way. And I tell you what, and it goes back to that, I'm doomed if I do, I'm doomed if I don't. If I don't say there's a threat and then it comes up, why didn't you tell me? And then I'm doomed if I tell you there's a threat and it backs off. We're like, hey, see, I knew it wouldn't happen. I get it. It doesn't make it fun, but come on, I get it. What else we got? How about Greer? Caroline, you're right there. Probably, some snow and ice, unfortunately. Atlanta, Georgia in the house. Hi, Angel. Ray's in the house. Nobody talks about us on the coast of North Carolina. I will. What you got? All right, where you at on the coast? It's kind of split down the state, as you see here. I've frozen the European in time, and it's got, southern parts of the Outer Banks, basically Cape Hatteras south toward Wilmington and ice. It's got, northern areas getting close to Norfolk into D.C., more snow, okay? Has 85 lost its magical snow barrier powers yet? I think it's been taken away. It's more I-40 now. But no, I think, it's where the elevation goes up. It's where the temperature starts to go down. So it's clear. Jonathan, classic 85 storm system in Hickory. Yeah, it sure is. 40 in North Carolina and 85 in South Carolina always is the border of who gets bigger and lesser, totals. And it's pretty substantial how the temperature goes down in these situations the further north on those lines you get. Michael says, as a truck driver, I really rely on your expertise. Michael, thank you for that. I appreciate that trust. Cindy says she's watching from Santee. Hello, hello. We got Rome, Georgia in the house. Belton, South Carolina is in the house. Who else is watching right now? Keith, how many inches are possibly getting in Greenville, Malden areas? GFS shows 4 inches of snow. The European shows 1.5 inches of ice with no snow. So neither are good, but both are highly impactful. Ashley says, I'm doing a snow dance for my Abbeville kiddos. Unfortunately, Ashley, looks like it'd be the ice. It'd be icy, but we'll watch it closely. Haley says, took my son to get some new sleds today. We're praying for some snow. Natalie says, Five Forks. Yeah, I live in Five Forks too, Natalie. We're prepared for probably ice, maybe some snow too, but keep your expectations in check as we look at what's coming in. Looks like classic Simpsonville and Fountain Inn gets 1 inch of snow and 1 inch of ice. Yeah, 100%. 100% as it comes on through, as that typically is the fall line, so to speak, as to what's going on. Folks, I do appreciate you being here, and if you're new to this channel and you're about to hop off, I would encourage you to like this video, one, and tell me where you're watching from so I can go back and look at the comments, but also subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications. If you don't follow this particular channel where you're watching from right now, the next time we go live, it'll indicate, hey, we got a new video, or hey, we're live, and you can stay in touch with us as we map out this potential that really looks to be pretty significant from Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas east. There's a large area here in this circle that could have a high impact winter storm. So my goal the next 2 days, and again, I would just ask for you to keep checking back in, is to let you know if that threat's going up or down, as it could do either, and then we start focusing in on the details. So I hope that helps, folks. All that to say, hope you have